What's up guys, this is Sam and Richard with Backcountry Life, and today we are talking about the 2020 KTM Freeride E-XC. So if you saw our previous video, you saw that we just did a box opening and just barely got it. So we're super excited about it. In this video, we wanted to go over some of those specific questions that you guys had and share those with everyone and share our answers. So stay tuned. When we first opened this bike up and hopped on it, we didn't really know what to expect. I mean, we had some assumptions, but one of the things that we quickly realized almost instantly, that this bike is actually probably more exciting than what we thought for a very specific area in dirt biking that I feel like is kind of a missing link.
Yeah, absolutely. And me as well, I was probably a bigger skeptic than Richard, just because I'm a diehard two-stroke guy and have been for a long time. And we ride, typically our days that we ride are, going to be 4 or 5 hours, 60 to 70 mile, give or take, and so obviously that wouldn't fit in that environment. Being able to jump on a bike that's not super loud, you don't have a clutch, it's not hot, makes it easier for a beginner to feel more confident to get on and ride a dirt bike. Prime example is Richard's wife.
Yeah, so my wife, she's never ridden a dirt bike ever, or even said she wanted to ride a dirt bike. So she's never even asked, hey, I want to ride a dirt bike. But she was watching us and she was like, I don't know, maybe could I try that bike? And we're like, yeah. So we just put it on the #1 setting. So, because we were riding it on the 3rd setting, the most power. So we put it on #1. She hopped on the bike and we didn't even give her any instruction. She just hopped on and we just said, hey, here's the throttle. And she rode it. And that was like an aha moment for us. We're like, wow, the fact that my wife felt comfortable hopping on this bike and riding it. If we were out riding the two-stroke around, she wouldn't have got out of the car. She would have been like, PC guys. So really cool. And I think this is going to be a really cool bike for that and potentially get a lot more people into dirt biking that otherwise probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, and if you're like a hardcore dirt biker, obviously, this probably isn't the bike that you're going to rush out to replace your, two-stroke or your 4-stroke, but it is a great bike to have around the house, and for multiple reasons. Like, for example, for Richard's wife, if your wife wanted to tool around and go ride with your kids, or for someone that's not really, they just want a good trail bike and it's easy to use, and it's quiet, and different experience. And so we're excited to kind of see what that does, as well as when we ride it on trails, like if it just feels like you're more connected with nature. I know that sounds kind of dumb, but that's really kind of the ideal place for this, is for people that are, just getting started, someone that doesn't really want a bike that rips your arms off, not really caring to race, just kind of want to cruise the trails. Also for your significant other, but for a guy that loves to ride fast and has, the really loud two-stroke, I actually really like this bike. Ripping around the neighborhood, I'd ride my two-stroke around and, you get dirty looks from everybody, and I'm sure all of you that have experienced that can relate. But with this, no one even hears me. And so I can ride around and tool around and no one really cares. So the noise pollution is just not there. So that's something to really think about as well.
Yeah, and even Milo, how old's Milo?
Milo is 9.
9? He hopped on this bike and rode it.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's huge. And so the fact that it's just so easy to ride and you can switch the power modes, as we ride it, I'm going to form a better and more, give you more information on actually how I feel the bike performs. Now,
we haven't really tested it hardcore out on a trail that's technical or anything like that.
Because it's snowed a bunch.
Yeah, so we went out snowboarding instead.
Exactly.
But because we were planning on taking it out to the desert and it snowed. But we plan on doing that. It'll be interesting for Sam to give us his opinion and tell us what he thinks and how it compares with his other bikes. So.
Right, because even though we actually now feel there's a place for a bike like this in the dirt bike world, we also want to give it real world type run throughs. So I'm going to treat it like I do my other bikes, and we're going to go ride it, try to do everything, side-by-side comparisons to let you guys know, like, if this is a bike that you think you want to put in your, in your garage. So do I feel like it's going to replace my bike? I don't think so. What the most important thing is getting out and dirt biking. So Richard or anyone that's a beginner, if this gets you out dirt biking, that's awesome. And then the fun factor. We just want to see how much fun we have on it.
So like I mentioned, we had a bunch of questions in the comments, and so we want to go over some of those. So Ryan Ivan, he asked, what would you say the power is equivalent to in a 4-stroke or 2-stroke CC wise?
Yeah, so for me, I think it would be more closely related to a 250F 4-stroke. Maybe a little bit of an underpowered 250, maybe kind of like a CR, CR 250X type bike, more of a trail bike. That's where I'd say the power is probably pretty similar.
So Daryl mentioned that he loves the idea of an electric bike because he can ride around in his neighborhood. He says, when I had my 2-stroke and I lived in a small town, his neighbors hated him for it. So
yeah, and the noise pollution is just different. So that's some value in that for sure.
Reap the Heat, he had an interesting comment. He said, it's hard to justify buying one because the battery tech is constantly evolving at a rapid pace and you never know when to jump in on a bike. What do you say about that?
There's some truth to that, but at the same time, because batteries, you can, just like Tesla's, they can actually run updates for the software to make the battery more efficient. And because the KTM Freeride makes it so easy to swap the battery, you can just change the battery if the battery's better, because I think the electric motor will still work really well.
Recipe for Recovery did say he has owned one for about a month, so I want to see a picture proof. So we might not have been the first ones in Utah. So he said he lives in Utah.
And we want to know where you got that from, because there's only a select dealers in the United States that get them.
Yeah. Now, Rotified made an interesting comment as well that we didn't mention. Is he says, I'm riding one for 1 year, having fun and daily commuting. It is capable of both. So that's one cool thing, is it has a key. You can really quickly convert it over to a street legal bike, and in Europe don't they come street legal?
Yeah, I heard in Europe they come street legal, but with this it has a place up here on a switch for a horn. It has the high and low beams, a key. It has a rear tail light that actually works with the brakes. So I think it can be. There's probably a kit that we could look into to make it street legal pretty easily here in the States.
A bunch of people, like Burke Rigby, he mentioned that definitely interested in the battery life among other things, but I don't know if I can get excited about a bike that doesn't make any noise.
Yeah, and that was weird. In the box opening, it does actually whirl louder than you think once you're up on the higher RPMs of the bike. It does make noise, but it is, if you're a moto head or a gearhead, kind of like we grew up, the sound of a finely tuned motor, you miss that, but Burke, you're just going to have to make motorcycle sounds while you're dirt biking.
Sam does it all the time.
I make sounds, and I apologize to all the viewers because I make all sorts of weird sounds.
Yeah, another guy asked if it was fully charged out of the box like a cell phone, and we mentioned that yes, it is.
Yeah, it comes fully charged, and make sure that you completely drain the battery, completely dead, before you charge it again.
So this is another interesting comment. Dogs gotta eat. I just wish KTM would put the electric drivetrain in a full-size bike. They'd sell thousands.
Yeah, so those are familiar with electric bikes kind of know the Alta motor story that, they actually had a full-size dirt bike that looked pretty comparable and competitive to the 250 4-stroke race bikes. And so we're all excited about that, but unfortunately Alta closed their doors. But we're seeing prototypes from Honda, the CRE, that looks like that. So would I be surprised if KTM or Husqvarna, because they may throw it one of their sister brands, or Gas comes out with a full-size electric bike? I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, and I think this is just the beginning, especially in Europe, where noise ordinances are more of an issue.
Especially the emission issues they've had.
And emission issues, like whether we like it or not, the technology is getting better. Regulations are going to push certain areas. I forgot the
Maine. Was it
the guy from Maine?
Was it Maine or?
Yeah, he said that there's noise ordinances that just make it almost impossible to ride anywhere in Maine. So, but he's
even on his
super
own
excited.
property.
Yeah,
which
even
is
on his own
unfortunate.
property. Yeah. Dirt bikes and ice hockey. He mentioned the lack of sound is very strange.
Yeah, it is strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys have any comments about this bike or a question that we didn't address or something like that, hit us up in the comments below. You know, we want to make this more of an experience where we try to help give you guys as much information as we kind of go through the experience of learning about this bike. Like I said, it's all new to us too, so we're trying to learn. I'm sure we've messed, you know, some things up and haven't given 100% correct information. But yeah, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you think. And
Feel
if you
free
have
to
any
correct
questions-
us.
Yeah, feel free to correct us. That's not a problem. We're just having fun and trying to provide some information about this bike. So
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys.